happening in Nova Scotia and
Yeah.
the eastern provinces, which are these wildfires. And so, not necessarily the wildfires, but the response to the wildfires, which is to ban people, as we mentioned a bit earlier, from hiking, walking in the forest, going on a, good old fashioned family picnic, for instance. Well, that now comes with a severe risk of spontaneous combustion, and you are banned from doing
Right.
so and threatened with COVID era style fines that are actually more aggressive, though. They're $25,000 worth of fines for violating the woods ban. And then you have a local MP here in Nova Scotia saying that this actually is not high enough. This
Yeah.
comes from the Hill Times, where MP Jessica Fancy Landry says the ban on entering forests is not about politics or control. Of course, it's not, but about safety. So it's for your health, it's for
Always,
your
always,
safety.
always.
And if you violate it, 25 grand, it's not enough, she says.
Do you know what? Why are these MPs not asking for higher fines on violating the fire ban or the ATV ban? And,
Yes.
I saw people commenting saying, well, Newfoundland and Labrador, they banned ATVs, so that's overreach. Look, I almost burned down an entire forest with an ATV during fire season. They are not intrinsically safe to be out in the forest during fire season. Muskeg can fall off a tailpipe, and then it's like if you're the last ATV in the line, if you don't look back, you'll burn down everything. So I get that, but like shoes, hiking, fishing, okay. Newfoundland and Labrador seems to be the only province that is going out of its way to balance things. They've upped the fines for violating the fire ban, but have opted not to ban people from the forest. So they've said no forest fires, no, no ATVs, but we can't kick you out of the forest. Exactly. So they've made the fine for violating the fire ban, I think it's $150,000. Yes, that makes sense. But Jessica Fancy Landry, whose name doesn't sound real, by the way, that sounds like me making fun of you, Jessica Fancy Landry. She's missing the point. You shouldn't be fining people for being in the forest. You should be fining them for doing actually dangerous things, which is having a fire or doing things that might lead to a fire, but things that might lead to a fire aren't walking. They're missing the point. If Newfoundland and Labrador, which is under the same fire threat, is able to balance rights with public safety by upping the consequences for violating the fire ban, why isn't that approach being taken in other provinces, except that it is truly about control and not safety?
Well, and once again, why do Canadians have to suffer for government ineptitude?
Right.
I don't know if you played the clip on the live stream yesterday, but
Yeah,
Conservative
Rempel.
MP Rempel
Yeah.
Garner called out the federal government and their supposed wildfire prevention and response efforts that were promised 4 years ago
Yeah.
to fund more water bombers, more firefighters, and cleaning up all of the dead brush that poses a
Yep.
great fire hazard risk when it's just left, as we saw with the Jasper town site being destroyed by wildfire because there wasn't those checks and balances put in place to clean up the dead brush. I mean, this is the same thing happening again a whole year later. And what have we learned? Well, we need to lock everybody down and prevent them from walking in the forest because the government can't do what it's supposed to be and mandated to do and funded through our tax dollars to do. And all regular Canadians have to suffer the consequences of that. And if you try to fight the government or say this makes no sense, you get slapped with these insane fines. And then it's just like a circle loop of reinforcement where government says, well, we are justified in this and you have to pay that. And so every way you look at it, the average person pays and pays and pays, and the government just gets off scot-free.
Well, and the average person is punished for the government not actually doing its job.
Yeah.
Because it's the government that has created the scarcity, as I talked about yesterday on the show. It's just like with COVID, but with this, government has created scarcity of firefighting resources. And instead of dealing with that over the past 4 years, their response is to punish the people who are victims of the scarcity,
Mhm.
us. The
Yeah.
people who want to be in the forest. And it's the same thing with healthcare. During COVID, they create the scarcity in the healthcare system. Healthcare system is broken and unusable. Wait times are out of control. There aren't enough frontline workers and too many managers, and our hospitals are overburdened. And then COVID comes along and they say, well, now we have this scarcity. So you, the victims of the scarcity, have to pay the price for it by not being able to do anything or see people or leave your homes, buy your groceries in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and well, and it's all of the COVID nonsense paved the way for these climate lockdowns and restrictions. So
Yeah.
that's where we're at.